Joining us now on the Fan Cam and on Twitch is the great legend himself, Dirk Nowitzki. The book is The Great Nowitzki, Basketball and the Meaning of Life. Good morning, Dirk. How are you, man?
Good morning, guys. How's it going?
It's going okay. Do you miss playing baseball with the radio station, emceeing your event? I see in the book that you love 95-degree weather out there in Frisco. Do you miss the celebrity event?
I do. It's been 2 years now. We had to cancel it. It's always such a fun event. It's such a family outing, really. You know, with being the game being so loved in the Frisco area there, and so many people have a sellout the last 2 years. So I do miss it, and hopefully we can put it back on this year. We'll see if it works out.
Of the non-professionals, who had the best swing or game, and who had the worst?
Well, I'm definitely the worst. I have no core strength. I'm way too long, so it's I'm definitely up there as being one of the worst. There's some guys that surprised me. Even some of the Cowboys guys are great athletes. Probably multiple sports athletes. I remember Dwight Powell had a really good swing, and he's really strong. He had a really good hit one year, and so there's some guys that are halfway decent.
I love that some of the guys got so competitive during that. I remember Jordan Spieth one year. He made like a diving catch. I'm like, dude, you literally have the U.S. Open in 10 days. What are you doing?
I remember. He was going hard. There's some other. Was it Des Bryant one year, or Zeke maybe, that like did a sliding thing in the home base, and we're always a little worried once the competitive juices start flowing. It's dangerous out there. One time I didn't pay attention. They always throw the ball to first base, but in the meantime I was talking to somebody, and then somebody threw the ball at me and nailed me in my thigh. I was really lucky. It could have gone a lot worse if it was a little high. It was a little higher, or even towards the head. I mean, I was super lucky. So I mean, baseball is not completely not dangerous.
Who is the non-professional hooper who has impressed you the most? Have you seen them playing pickup or shot around with you? Is it Romo by far? Like who else celebrity wise can play?
I'd have to think about it. Romo was definitely good. I mean, he got a little shot. He got a little in between game. I guess he played in high school growing up. I'm not sure. I mean, there is a couple big guys. John Isner, the tennis player. He played. He's a big guy. He's about 6'10".
Yeah.
And I think he played in high school, so he's got a few skills. He's got a little Jimmy, and I'm not sure who else, but everybody usually grows up a little bit playing basketball here, so they all have some sort of a shot and can dribble a little bit.
All right, Dirk. Speaking of tennis,
yeah, because you mentioned 6'10" in tennis, right?
Yeah.
Like that's big for tennis, is it not?
Yeah. Since I first got to town and I heard you played tennis, I said I wanted a piece of Dirk out there on the court. I am a mixed doubles high school state champion. So I have
mixed doubles,
mixed doubles, baby. There you go. I've been waiting for the invite to the tournament. So I know you got the crazy serve, but give me the other scouting report on Dirk's game. Is it a slice backhand? Is it two-hand? Is it the top-spin one-hander? Can you get to the net? Give me the scouting report.
My game evolved over the years. I was really good junior. I was even traveling through Germany and playing big tournaments. I was ranked in my area at the time, and then once I just started to go all in on basketball, I kind of stopped playing tennis for a good 10, 12 years and barely played anymore. And then I lost it all. I used to have a nice double-handed backhand, and all of it was gone. So now I kind of hack my backhand one-handed, some slice, some topspin. Obviously, I got a big forehand and a big serve. Other than that, the movement is not my strength. Yeah. Coming to the net is not.
I just drop shot you all day.
Oh yeah, all day long. Especially now where I have some health issues after 21 years running up and down the court. So movement is definitely not my thing. It's basically I'm trying to overpower you with the serve and a big forehand, and then the rest is is really bad.
The Great Nowitzki is the book. Dirk is joining us here on 105 through the Fan. Were you just too tall at the end for tennis?
You know, I have a photo at home with the guy, and I played him all the time. I played him in one of the finals, and we do a picture together. And I'm literally double the size. He's probably going down to my hip, but I must have been like 12 years old or something. And I gotta say, I felt more comfortable around basketball guys. You know, we're all tall. You know, obviously kids make fun of each other, and being so big and so tall, you know, I just felt more comfortable around taller guys, around basketball. It was a team sport. That made me feel more comfortable. So for me, it was just an easy decision to stay with basketball because I was so freakish tall. So that didn't help in tennis. But now everybody is a lot bigger now in tennis, and you know, we have 6'9", 6'10" players everywhere. But back in the days, that was definitely rare.
What sport direction does it look like your kids are going in, and how do you feel about like the specialization? RJ and Troy are at 9 p.m., 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. baseball tournaments, and they're driving, the crazy practice hours, and, only focus on one. Where's the Nowitzki family falling with that?
Well, I did a complete opposite. I played at one time, I played 3 sports at the same time with handball, tennis, and basketball. And so I did it the other way. I didn't specialize for basketball until I was really 14, 15. I mean, I started when I was 12, then I played tennis and basketball at the same time for a couple more years. And so I kind of want to see what they want to do. I don't want to force them into anything. So far, the boys play tennis and soccer, and the daughter does tennis and gymnastics. So we'll see. Nobody plays basketball yet. I mean, they enjoy it a little bit to play on our court a little bit, but they don't really play so far. They're still a little too young. But we'll see what they have a passion for later. I don't really want to, push them into anything or push them into any decisions. If they want to be pro athletes or something, or get really into it, that's fine. I'll support it, and if not, that's fine too. I think I want to handle it like my parents did, and that's just support, and whatever they choose, I'm here to support.
Is there a sport, because you mentioned handball, is there a sport in Europe that's popular that you wish was more popular here in the U.S.?
Well, handball is one. I think it's actually a great sport. Handball here, when I got to the U.S. over 20 years ago, I told the guys, I'm big in handball, and they thought it's the game where you put a glove on and you hammer the ball against the wall, almost like a squash. And I'm like, no, this is not handball. Handball is like almost like soccer, but played with the hands. You have the goals. You throw outside the circle. There's a goalie who's trying to prevent the ball from going in. And it's a really cool sport. So my dad was a very big handball player, and so that was one of my first sports that I played. I learned to throw when I was like 2-3 years old, and so I love that sport. When I was in the Olympics, I tried to catch it as much as I can. And actually, Germany has one of the best leagues in the world right now. They have a great Bundesliga there. So it's a huge sport in Europe, and it's just not on the radar here at all. I think a little bit in the Northeast they play it, but I wish that is one sport that's super fun to watch.
So you're a pretty private guy. You've never really been known for wanting the attention and the limelight, and now you have this book out. Well, what did you want to convey the most in this book? What do you think a lot of Mavs fans will get the most out of in reading it?
Good question. I mean, the writer came up to me. I've known the writer for a while, Thomas. He wrote some articles on me before. I knew he's more of a novelist, not really a sports writer, but he has a sports background. So he came up to me after the championship with this idea of just having a nice book project, following me around for a few years of my end of my career, and then just chronicle some things at the end, and it'll be a fun project. So I was like, I like you, Thomas. I think you do good work. You're a great writer. So let's do it. Not knowing at the time that I was going to play another 8 or 9 years, right? So he wanted to finish the project in like 2-3 years, And then I'm like, I signed another deal, and then another 2 or 3 year deal. And he's like, well, I can't finish the book now without getting your end of the career in, right? So I ended up playing 8 more years. So he really followed me for 8 years at the end. And he was part of my crew, part of my entourage. He was traveling with me in the summer to stuff. He was at all my big events here in Dallas. I mean, he was at all my foundation events. I mean, he had a really good look at my world, so to speak. And so I think he did a nice job kind of describing it from the outside and from the inside, and he talked to everybody. And so I think it's just a nice little look into an athlete's world, and I think it's a nice little read. And like I said, he is not a so-called sports writer, so it's not another sports book or sports biography. This is more. Of him looking into my world and trying to describe it, and I think he did a good job.
I think one of the reasons that all the Metroplex loves you so much is just the humbleness, and you don't act like you're Dirk Nowitzki. A question that some parents have texted in is, how is he so humble? Like what lessons are you going to try to convey? And can you teach it to your kids of achieving a lot but remaining humble and staying grounded? What's the secret to that?
That is sweet. Thank you.
I didn't say it. It was from the listeners, Dirk.
Yeah, of course, not you. I think it was my parents that always try to raise me the right way, raise me with having respect, raise me with have humility, and then I think it's a little bit of my personality too. I'm a shy guy. I'm always even growing up, I wasn't sure, am I good enough? Am I worthy of this? And so I think it was a little bit of a combination of how I grew up and my personality that, I'm almost a little embarrassed at times when things happen to me. It's just, I think that was also my personality. So I'd love to, teach to my kids. Of course, I want them to be confident in this world and know what they stand for and know what they want. But I also want them to understand that, you're not better than the next guy. You respect your other people that live in this world. And so hopefully I can do a good job. But, it's a full-time job being a parent and trying to raise them the right way.
Dirk Nowitzki joining us in the Diamond Factory hotline. One of the big knocks against the Mavericks, and one of the things we get upset about as a fan base is we can't get free agents. When no one wants to come and play for Dallas. What is your response to that? And with your personality, did you go out and recruit? Was there a big regret you had of a guy that was a target where you said, I could have done that, I could have done more? Did you recruit? Did you not recruit? And what's your response, Dirk, to the Mavs can't get a big free agent?
I guess it's harder than it looks, honestly. We always thought, I think the big decision was obviously after we won the championship, then there was the lockout. Then we decided to let some of those guys go and go for cap space. And I think that's well documented. This was, 10 plus years ago. And I think at the time, even Mark said it's the right move to do. But looking back now, I think it's more important to have assets, to have pieces, than to go for cap space all the time. And so that really hasn't worked out well for us. But, I think we have a set up now where you have a young star, you have a new coach, a young coach, a player's coach, you have new management. So you got to keep going for it. And if you have to get better through draft, through free agency, you can get better through trade. So there's all sorts of things you can get better at. But I think with Luka, obviously you have this huge piece now you can build around and people would want to play with. So did I recruit at the time? I did. I don't think I was great at it. Back in the days, we traveled to LA. We tried to get Dwight Howard that year. We did LaMarcus Aldridge and a couple other guys in the following years. it was hard for me to sit there and just, hey, come to Dallas. You either want to come play or you don't. You either come to look at the city. Does you sit? It's important that your family likes it. You feel comfortable. But I'm not going to sit there and basically tell you how great it is. It's you either want to come play or you don't. So I wasn't necessarily great at this whole recruiting thing. You're in or you out.
Who recruited you the hardest?
While I played, I wanted to obviously finish my career here. So the only time when I thought about leaving was pre-championship. When we didn't win it. I was 10 plus years now at the league at this point. And I was thinking, am I going to win the championship here or am I going to go somewhere? And so there was, I remember Kobe tried to get me to come to LA at some point. Stevie was reaching out to me at some point, but then I signed that 4-year deal. I think I mentioned that in my jersey retirement. I was a free agent in 2010, really for the first time, and I went to Mark's house, and there was no agent involved. He said, "Come to my house, we'll figure it out." And then we both kind of like went through stuff and how close we were and all the disappointments. And we both got super emotional and had tears in our eyes. And I told him, I want to be here. He wanted me here. And then we signed it or agreed on the 4-year extension. And then we ended up winning the championship in year 1 of that deal. So, which obviously was even way better than planned, and that was amazing. So, and after that, really, there was no need for me to leave. I always wanted to be here. I wanted to be loyal to the city, and it worked out great that way.
How do you look at the difference in teams? Like you got the one title, but to us, it's probably the most special title of our lifetime that we can remember. It was won a different way
and against
the super team.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you weigh, all right, I got my one title, or I could have teamed up with somebody and gotten 3, how do you look at that?
Well, I think everybody has to, know what's best for him and create their own journey. For me, it was being on one team. I'm a loyal guy. I always have been. The way I got treated from the fans when I got here, and then Mark buying the team and the relationship we had, and so to me it was my family felt wanted and loved here, and so for me it was kind of a no-brainer, and that worked for me. But it's hard for me to sit here and say, this guy should do such and such. I think everybody has to know what's best for them. People always ask me, how do you get to the NBA? What's the best way? Everybody has to find their own way. Is it college? Is it going through Europe? Is it, going to the G League now, not even after high school? There's so many things that you have to weigh in, have your mentors, your family weigh in on what's best, and then you have to make a decision for yourself. But I understand, of course, that the business has changed a little bit, and now the nature of the league is a little bit of teaming up and trying to win it all. And that was a little different in the early 2000s. So. It's just the game and the league evolves, and it's part of it now. But for me, my way is what would work for me, and that was staying in one franchise.
I think, we see some parallels between your 2011 team and this Mavericks team with the one superstar and not really having like the number 2 or number 3. If you were a GM, or how do you view Dirk? Because to me, I was like, they're not going to win it in 2011. They got to beat the Lakers, and they got to go through the Heat, and there's super teams. And then this year, I'm like, Luka is like amazing, but they're not going to make it to the Western Conference Finals. You need more than that. 2011 was lightning in a bottle. How do you view that, Dirk, in terms of team building of one and maybe special guys around you, or one and like the right guys around you?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends. You always want another, you want as many superstars on the team as you can get, but that also sometimes doesn't work out, as you see with numerous examples. I'm not going to name teams, but There's some superstars, and they're a little sensitive. They got all the egos. They need touches and points, and that always doesn't work out. So if the egos clash, then it is better to have one alpha dog and have every role defined, like we had in 11, or this team now has, and everybody else playing right up to their level, and even raise their level, and do their job to their best, and have unbelievable role players. So I think that's the case that we have obviously now with Luka having the ball in his hands a lot. But it helps to have Jalen. Spencer has been great, and to give him some relief, take some pressure off Luka to make plays all the time. And they can make plays off the dribble or when he's off the court, and everybody else, is rotating. They're athletic. We can defend right now. So I think we have a really fun team. I tweeted it the other day, last week, that we're really fun to watch. How we scramble on defense, super athletic. Everybody's rotating for each other, and on offense, just find a play. Have Luka create, or Jalen and Spencer create. Everybody else is kind of playing off them. So I think it's a fun team. I'm not going to say that we're a championship caliber of a team, but we'll see what happens. I think if we stay healthy, and of course it hurts that Tim went down. With his broke his foot. I think he's still a big part of the big shot maker, especially we're looking forward to the playoffs. But I think we have a good team, and it should be a fun ride.
Is it true?
But if you look at the West, I mean, honestly, it's going to be tough whoever you face. There is some tough competition. Even in the first round, you can have a killer matchup. So it's going to be fun.
Is it true that you gave Luka the sing a song advice to calm down with the refs? And if so, what was your song?
I tried to mentor him a little bit. Obviously, he's so good already. He's already better now than I ever was, and he's so mature already that it's kind of hard for me to really tell him something, because he's just so good and so mature already. But certain things that I see, I talk to him about it, and he seems to be open for it. And so there was this thing that I tried to do, and I remember I used to talk a lot about it in the 06 final run, when I said how do you make these big free throws, and I said just to take some pressure off myself and get my mind free, I sometimes sing a song, and it helps me calm down, and it gets me in a good place, and I'm not like tense and thinking about certain stuff or get too emotional. And so I did tell Luka that secret one time, and in like really tense moments, or in moments when he's about to take somebody's head off, just smile and maybe interact with the teammates, or put something else in your mind, and we'll see if it works or if it has worked for him. But this kid is so special that the sky's the limit.
And what was yours?
It was at the time, I remember when I was doing that in 06, I kept singing Mr. Jones by County Crows. I don't know why, but that was my go-to at the time. But like I said, this was almost 20 years ago, 15, 16 years ago. That was my song, man. I even knew how to play a little bit on the guitar. Mr. Jones and me. So that was my song at the time. And then after that, it was kind of a little bit of everything. I remember, so I think it was one of the guys, when I told that story that I sang a song, they knew David Hasselhoff was big at the time in Germany. So he's like, David Hasselhoff. And then I repeated it. And then it was a huge deal, Dirk singing David Hasselhoff, which was not true. It was obviously a joke. But then I remember in 06 in the finals, I have a big free throw, end of game 3 or game 4, and behind the basket they had the David Hasselhoff the heads cut out, and I'm like, this is going way too far. But it was fun while it lasted.
Real quick, I always wanted to ask you this: did you ever think about playing college basketball in the U.S.?
Because did you go to Coach K's final
the Duke game.
Home game?
I did. I did not go visit Duke. That kind of happened because I always wanted to go to a game in Cameron Indoor. I heard it's a great arena. It's a small little place, and the atmosphere is amazing. So I got offered through some friends that went to Duke to go to that game, and was, of course, like, yeah, I have no affiliation really with Duke, but first of all, Coach K is a legend. It'll be an amazing atmosphere at his last game. So I went, and it was fantastic. I got a tour of the campus, and then tour of Cameron Indoors, and it was amazing. Just for that night, it's unfortunate that UNC won, because that completely killed the vibe at the end. I mean, completely. The place was dead. But that was cool to go. I always talk about, when I talk to teammates over my 20 years, they always say that 1 or 2 years in college was amazing. So sometimes I do regret that I didn't try it for 1 year. Obviously, it worked out perfect the way I did it. But that's one thing I do miss a little bit, maybe the camaraderie in college, and how tight knit the groups are. I did visit a few college when right after high school. I actually had to join the Army for 10 months. That was mandatory still at the time. And at the time, they let me travel a little bit to the U.S., and then I got to visit some colleges. I looked at Stanford, I looked at Cal, and I looked at Kentucky at the time with Tubby Smith. They had just come off the championship with Scott Padgett. I think McGlure was there at the time. So they had a really good team. And I loved all the spots. I'm not sure I would have gotten into Stanford with my with the SAT that I took. It was a little low, but I loved all the spots, and I guess I'm lucky I didn't really have to choose one. I was really impressed. I remember with Kentucky at the time, the dorm that they had a playroom downstairs, the pool table. I mean, the setup they had already back then, this was like late 90s, was almost like a pro setup. I don't even know what they have now. I can't even imagine, but that was really impressive.
Well, look, man, it was an honor to have you on finally. The great Nowitzki, Basketball and the Meaning of Life. Bassick just popped in and said, make sure to give him props. It's his influence that Giannis and Embiid and Joker are up there, Luka and the MVP. You can say you love him, Mike. Pop it on real quick. So Bassick just wanted to come in and tell you that, Dirk.
Tell him I said hello, yeah. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
I love you, Dirk. You're the best.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Dirk. Good luck with the book, man. The great Nowitzki. Dirk right here on the Diamond Factory Hotline. The KMC Masterpiece next on The Fan.